Welcome everyone, it's the Crypto Lark. Very excited to have on today Yoav from Pumapay, an innovative payment platform for cryptocurrencies, which is already working with some of the world's biggest brands. How's it going?
Hi, Lark. Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, pleasure to have you on. And we're going to be diving into just what makes Pumapay unique and who you're working with and how you're going to take on the credit card companies. But just a quick note to everyone in the audience before we break all of that down, just remember to always do your own research on any given project before investing your own money. This interview is just a way for you to get to learn about the project and get the vision of what Pumapay is doing. And also a big thank you to the team over at Pumapay for supporting the channel by sponsoring today's video. So, the elevator pitch. Let's take it from the high level and then we'll break down some of the details.
Okay, so Pumapay is a comprehensive payment solution that combines the flexibility and ease of use of credit cards together with the advantages of blockchain technology. And by doing so, we are offering a unique payment method that is going to interrupt the entire payment space.
I like it. I like it. The vision's great. Just we're disrupting the whole place. I like it. Now, I want to break down a lot of the different features because the features are very interesting to me. But just before we get into feature by feature here, where are you at in terms of development? Where are you at?
Okay, so today we are nearly 1.5 years after our private sale where we raised our funds. And I'm very excited and happy to say that we have finalized the development of the core components of our system, and it's now fully operational and working. And we are launching the system these very days. And we are now moving from the development phase to the adoption phase. So now our focus is, we're still developing, there's still much to do, there always will be, but now our focus moves to adoption. We're now targeting businesses, we're onboarding our early adopters, we will start to see real use in the token to buy stuff. This is where we're at.
Nice. So in terms of, I guess, how it all works, we're looking at crypto payments, so being able to pay merchants with cryptocurrencies. So is that specifically just using your token, or is that for a wide range of cryptocurrencies?
Our protocol, the pool payment protocol, is utilized by the token. I mean, the only way to transfer value over the protocol is with the PMA token. Nonetheless, we in the future plan to support multiple tokens, and in a second I will describe more about the unique features of our protocol and why is it so special. But we will support these unique features with other cryptocurrencies via automatic conversion of any other cryptocurrency, even cryptocurrencies that doesn't have smart contracts like Bitcoin, and you'll be able to use our unique pool payment protocol via automatic conversion to the PMA token.
Now, one thing that we're looking at here too is crypto billing. So being able to send basically that pull request. And I think I want you to break this down a little bit for us. The idea of a pull payment, and of course pull payments on different blockchains. So actually, the authorization to withdraw funds from someone's cryptocurrency address. Is that correct?
Yes. So the unique and innovative point of Pumapay is that we inverse the mechanic of the crypto transaction. And if we will look at Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency, the only way to transfer funds between two parties is that one party will type in the address of the other party and will press send and will push the funds to the other party. And the pool payment protocol inverses the mechanic of this transaction and allows the other party to connect to the wallet of the first party, and based on pre-approved terms and conditions, pull funds from there. And with this pre-authorization, this opens the door to a whole universe of very common payment methods like subscriptions and pop-up and direct debit and pay per time and pay per use that were not easily possible on the blockchain before, but now we make them possible. And we have, we already developed, we call them billing models, and we already have 4 types of billing models as we speak, and we're we're now finalizing the development of the 5th one. We have the single pool payment, which is, as it sounds, a single payment, but with the reverse transaction. What makes it special, as opposite to a send transaction, is that since the merchant is initiating the transaction, then he's paying the fees. So if in a normal crypto transaction, the one who sends the funds pays the fees, and if we look at it in e-commerce settings, that the customer has to pay the fees, this is not something customers are used to when they use credit cards. So we're using the pool payment protocol to inverse the mechanic of this transaction as well, and then the merchant is pulling the funds, so the customer doesn't have to pay the gas fees. The merchant does that. Following that, we have the subscription payment model, which is recurring payments every predefined period of time for a predefined number of recurrences with a fixed amount. This is already live on mainnet since October 2018, and we were the first company to introduce recurring payments on the blockchain. We're very proud of that. We have 3 different flavors for the recurring payment. The normal recurring payment, which starts with the first payment the moment you make the transaction. The free trial plus recurring, which is basically a delayed recurring. The first transaction is for a predefined amount of time. And the single pool payment plus the recurring, which is paid trial plus recurring, which is very suitable for dating platforms, for example, where you pay like, I don't know, $3.95 for the first 3 days, and then you're being charged $11.95 per week or something like that, depending on the settings. We also have the dynamic price billing model, which enables to create a template of a single billing model. You don't have to predefine the amount, and you can inject the amount into the QR code at the moment the customer is ready to make the transaction. This is we developed this one based on feedback we got from the travel industry, where the flight tickets prices, they fluctuate all the time, so they cannot create a billing model with a predefined price. So we give them a template QR code, and then they inject the price at the moment the customer is ready to make the purchase, and then they can change it. For each customer, they can, with using one QR code, they can have different prices for different customers. So it makes it very easy for them to create the pricing models. Coming up next, and hopefully by the end of this month, we will also launch the top-up billing model, which allows the merchants to set up 2 parameters. One is the amount, let's say $100, and the other one is a threshold, let's say $25. And then every time the customer's balance with that merchant drops below the threshold, below $25, the merchant is allowed to top it up to $100. This is very good for any company that is working with credits, like gaming companies, casinos, etc.
Wow. This is awesome, because this is something we haven't had in crypto before. It's like you said, we've had one-way transactions, right? And if anyone's used to using their credit card, I'm sure a lot of people have cards, and you've got your Netflix subscription on your credit card, you've got your power bill, it just goes out automatically from your bank account, all this stuff that we automate, and this automation has been a great part of modernity. But we've kind of gone back a little bit with cryptocurrencies, where I'm in full control of my money at all time, I all that stuff, but you have the problem of these pull payments, which is it's a great innovation that you guys are bringing forward. Now, I want to talk a little bit about how you kind of get merchants interested in this. So how competitive are your fees with the traditional payment processors? And can you talk a little bit about chargebacks as well?
Yes, well, I'm glad you asked that. I say our proposition to merchants is very appealing for several reasons. First of all, fees. In certain sectors, the credit card companies' fees can reach up to 15% for high-risk sectors like adult entertainment, gaming, forex, up to 15%.
That's great. Well, I see. Yeah, I mean, you have some credit card companies which let you buy crypto, and they have incredibly high fees too.
Yes, exactly. And even if it's not, even if you don't go to the extreme, even 3%, 5%, if you it's 5% from the gross. If you look at the net, if the net profit margins of that merchant is I don't know 25%, then it multiplies by 4 compared to the profit. Mm-hmm. So the Pumapay protocol is completely free. There are no transaction fees. Currently, as we're on the Ethereum blockchain, there's only the gas fee that the merchant has to pay to the Ethereum network. This might go down in the future as Ethereum improves. We might migrate to a better blockchain if we find something that is suitable for a solution, and we're constantly looking for other solutions. We're looking at all of the blockchains. So we are not taking any transaction fee. So the transactions on the Pumapay protocol are completely free. The second point is, as you mentioned already, is chargebacks. I don't know how people are familiar with this term, but in an essence, chargeback is when a customer regrets the transaction and they call either their bank or the credit card company and they ask for a refund. And the policy of the credit card companies is no question asked, they give them the money back. They take it from the merchant's bank account. Even if the merchant provided the service or the product, they take the money, they give it to the customer. Then it's up to the merchant to go and file a dispute and try to prove that he indeed provided the services, and he may win. He may get his money back after a while and after considerable time investment, effort, and the money investment. Mm-hmm. But this is not the only problem with chargebacks. It creates a few more problems. First of all, if you cross a certain threshold of a transaction, and currently this threshold is 1% of all of your transactions. So if you cross more than 1% of your transactions are considered chargebacks, then Visa and MasterCard can terminate your account and put you out of business.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Crazy. They set the rules, they're the middlemen. They set the rules, and you have to comply with the rules. And by the way, until July 2016, Visa's threshold was 1.5%. Then they decided to take it down to 1%. And many companies couldn't adjust and they went out of business. Second, chargebacks, you don't just enjoy the chargeback, they also give you a fine. You can pay up to $100 fine per chargeback. So in order to fight these chargebacks, especially in high-risk sectors like adult entertainment and gaming and forex, etc., these companies invest a lot of money and a lot of effort to prevent the chargebacks. So either they employ, like a compliance desk that are checking the transactions before approving them and rejecting some of them and causing some false positive and losing some potential deals because they were afraid to take them because it might become a chargeback. And alternatively, they can employ AI tools that cost a lot of money to develop or to use. So this chargeback is a real pain in the ass of any company that is dealing with credit cards, especially high-risk companies. And the blockchain, at its essence, transactions are final and immutable. So there are no chargebacks. So this is a very strong point for Pumapay. Why is it superior for merchants? And we're taking the merchant's perspective with Pumapay to card payments, to payment cards. Mm-hmm. So we have the fees, we have the chargebacks, also the settlement with crypto. The settlement is immediate, unlike with the credit cards. You can wait a day, two, sometimes up to a week, depending again on the settings that you have, until you receive your money, and this can create cash flow issues. So we have a lot of advantages just by using the blockchain technology. But this is not all. When we created Pumapay, our vision was to adapt the blockchain technology into how businesses are used to work. And today, subscriptions, it's something that is very common. And everybody are using subscriptions. Like you mentioned, to your Netflix subscription, your Google Cloud, your iCloud, I don't know, Dropbox, any service, your gym also, it's a subscription. And the blockchain didn't offer this. So we wanted to develop a system that adapts to existing business logic and existing payment schemes. And subscription is one of them. And then we came out also with the total billing model. And we came out also with the pay per time, which can be very good for video conferences, online courses, consultancy, etc. We're also planning to open the protocol and allow developers and businesses to design their own billing models, things that we might not think of right now. I don't know. You can design a billing model that whenever the temperature in your room is this and that, and if it's a full moon, then you have a transaction, or whatever you can think of. The protocol is future-proof in this respect, and it will support anything you can imagine.
Wow. It's an awesome system. And obviously this has been a big problem for merchants overall with the chargebacks and all these things. And I feel like blockchain and cryptocurrencies are bringing in so much competition that the old companies, they're either going to have to adapt or just go the way of the dinosaurs. And I think that they are defending their business models right now. They're not working on this kind of adoption. Now, I want to move on to talk a little bit about some of the companies you're already working with, because you already have more than 100 brands committed to using your payment solutions, which is very impressive, I have to say. And we have some very big names here too, like Rent24 and Pornhub and Fashion TV and Wix.com. So this is awesome. Obviously, like you said, some high-risk industries that have to pay higher credit card fees, etc. So in terms of working with these companies, so where do you see, I guess, more brands coming in? What was the pitch to get these brands on board? And do you foresee any non-internet based companies? I mean, are you looking at any point of sale solutions? Are you working with any point of sale companies to try and get, Pumapay into point of sale devices around the world? It's a lot to unpack there.
let me address all this. So yes, indeed, we're working with many companies. We were very successful with the adult entertainment sector, mainly thanks to our launch partner, I'm Live, which is one of the largest and leading webcam platforms on the web. And we started with them, and then they introduced us to many companies in this sector who embraced us due to the advantages that I said before. And I see this as a very, very good sign, because if you look back, the adult entertainment sector, they are early adopters of technologies that became mainstream, like the VHS, like online video, like online payments. I don't know if your audience are aware of this, that the first companies that were using online payments were adult entertainment companies. And we see this as a very, very positive signal. But we're not only focusing on this sector, even though we're very successful in our, by the way, our first integrations that are rolling out really in the coming weeks will be adult entertainment companies. We're also focusing on other companies. And as you said yourself, like both online and offline, Rent24, it's a completely offline company. For those who doesn't know Rent24, it's like WeWork. They're I think the biggest competitor of WeWork in Europe. And you will be able to pay, I think you will be able to pay for your rent with PMA tokens. For a real estate space, for an office space, you will pay with Pumapay tokens. The integration with them has already started. We're moving forward. I hope that within a month we can announce this as well. And we're looking, we're currently talking with a very large retail in Europe. I don't want to disclose the name right now. And we're talking about integration both for their online shop, their mobile app, and for their offline shops. They have like branches in Europe. And we're very progressing in the negotiation, and I really hope that we will be able to announce this collaboration sometime soon.
Very cool. I mean, essentially, for any of these brick and mortar point of sale merchants, all they need to have is a tablet, right, or even a mobile phone for some very small shops. So the big brands, they would already have computers at their cash registers, and all they need to do is get the QR code, right, so people can scan with their mobile phone, send the payment, right?
Yes, theoretically speaking, yes, but there is some back-end integration that needs to be done with their existing financial system, because it's not enough that you can scan the code at the store, but somebody needs to know that there was a sale and to associate this sale with the payment, so, to write it correctly in the books. So this is the kind of integration that we're dealing with.
Of course, well, we see the bada bing, bada boom. You guys do all the hard work in the background to make that bada bing, bada boom happen, I guess is what it comes down to. But that will be a possibility that these things will be able to work like this with that partner, which I think is very exciting. This is, there's so many ways to get these crypto payments in front of people. The one trick, I suppose, is how do we get people to really be using cryptocurrency for payments? Because I talk about the topic a lot here on the channel. One thing I was, but I want to hold on to it. It's going to be worth more in the future, so I don't want to pay with cryptocurrency if I think the price is going to go up on it. So how do you kind of get to the users of cryptocurrency and incentivize them to be spending their cryptocurrency on these different services?
So there are different ways to answer this question. First of all, the majority of the people are not crypto holders. They don't know about crypto, and most of them, they don't care about crypto. Mm-hmm. They care about ease of use. And so our first challenge is to create very easy to use tools, things that my mother would be able to use when she goes to the supermarket. And so and we are putting a very strong focus on user experience and creating our tools both for businesses and for end users to make it easy to use. So our wallet needs to be very intuitive in the way that you subscribe, and very clean, very easy. Mm-hmm. The second challenge here is the crypto volatility. And this challenge is more to businesses, because one of the first feedback that we first got from businesses is that no, I know that Bitcoin goes up, go down, I don't have this risk. So we solved this risk by developing what we call the fiat settlement layer. It was developed by one of our partners, a company called KUCOIN, and they created a mechanism where the rate of the PMA tokens is locked at the moment of the transaction. So the moment you scan the QR code and you click approve, then the PMA rate is locked, and we guarantee the fiat price to the merchant. And not only this, we also do all the conversion for them, so they don't have to be worried about liquidity. If there's enough liquidity, there will always be enough liquidity with the payment token. And they don't have to deal with the hassles associated with opening an account at the exchange, sending the payment tokens, converting to a USDT, sending the USDT to a broker, converting to fiat, and sending to their bank account. No. Once the customer, you see, it's a big process.
It's a big process. It's crazy. It's hard. It's a hard sell for merchants, right? Or users.
So now, as soon as the customer scans the QR code and approves the transaction, the merchant knows that they're going to get this fiat amount to their bank account, guaranteed.
Awesome. That's obviously, it's just such an incredibly important part of the process, because as much as we might like to see the new paradigm of money happening through cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin taking over the world, we're still in a fiat-centered world, and it's a long way away from that kind of the future of decentralized systems. But we can use these decentralized systems today to revolutionize the way the payments work to make payments cheaper and more secure and easier and more fun and all this stuff at the end of the day. So it's definitely very, very cool. So the PMA token, it's primarily just used as the transfer of value across the Pumapay network. Is that correct?
Yes, the PMA token is the blood of our system. I mean, this is what makes value move from side to side. Without it, the system is paralyzed. So we have to have the PMA token for transfer, for value transfer over the protocol.
Very cool. Now, you guys are also members of the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. So, what does this bring to you? What kind of benefits do you see that you're going to be able to get from being a member of that alliance?
Yes, we became members, I think, 2 or 3 months ago, and we are speaking with them. We're trying to lead a special interest group about payments, and we want to start setting the standards, the taxonomy of payments and the standards of payments in general for the benefit, of all the players. So when I talk about a payment, then another party from somewhere, from another company, they talk about exactly the same thing, the same characteristics. When I say subscription, he knows exactly what I mean and not something a little different. So we need to set standards here. And they're very, we are in a very good company with the EEA. Companies like IBM are leading I think IBM is leading the token taxonomy group. Mm-hmm. And we want to collaborate with all these companies and to create really standardization for payments.
Yeah, when you look at the list of companies that are a part of the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, it's mind-boggling. Some of the world's biggest companies, and you're there being able to have these conversations with them, to talk with them and collaborate with them. I think that's really, really important, because you have a big task in front of you. You're trying to take on the big payment processors, the credit card companies, right? They're very well funded. They are everywhere. And so how do you, I mean, obviously, we've got lower fees and the eliminates chargebacks and all that fun stuff, but like, how do you really, I guess, how do you take these giants of the payment world on? What's to stop MasterCard coming out from next week and saying, hey, we're going blockchain? And is that a threat to you guys?
They do that. Both MasterCard and Visa, they invest a lot of money and they buy companies in the field of blockchain, and they're looking into it as well. And both, I think Visa is also part of Facebook Libra.
They are, yeah.
Yeah, so everybody are looking at the blockchain technology. Blockchain technology is a natural technology for payments. How we're going to take them? Well, I can tell you stories here about that. We're going to take them out and throw them out of business, but we are both realistic people. This is not going to happen, and our aspiration is not to replace Visa, but to coexist. And I see Pumapay, if you ask me where do I see Pumapay in 3 years, 5 years from now, I see Pumapay as a major player in the payment space. Side by side with PayPal and Visa and MasterCard. I don't expect everybody to throw their credit cards and download our app. I imagine some people will want to continue using their cards. There are benefits for cards. However, I think that if indeed we gain mass adoption, and our strategy is to go through the merchants, and we have, as I said before, I think our message and our pitch to the merchants is very appealing, and it's no wonder that we managed to get 100 brands already with some of the big names that you mentioned yourself. I think that we will be able to create mass adoptions with businesses, and these businesses will incentivize their customers because they're benefiting from customers paying with Pumapay. They will push it to their customers. So I imagine that within not a very long time, let's say between a year to 3 years from now, we will become a major player in the payment space.
Very, very cool. Now, you guys are about to go on tour. This is kind of where I guess I'll finish up our chat a little bit, but so you're going to go on a Pan-Asian tour kicking off around next week or so. So where are you going to be going? who you're going to be going with, and why are you going on tour around Asia?
Okay, so first of all, the title of our tour, we're going to launch our protocol. As I said at the beginning, we've finalized the development of the core components of the protocol, and now it's time for adoption. The countries we're visiting, which is Singapore, Vietnam, Korea, and Japan, are very crypto friendly. I've been there several times. We have a rep office in Tokyo. We're working in Seoul as well. First time in Vietnam. The people there are very well educated about crypto. They are eager to use crypto. They have lots of cryptocurrency that they're holding, and we're going there in order to announce the finalization of our development, and we're also going to start onboarding businesses in these countries as well.
Very, very cool. Now, if people want to come out and meet you guys at these events, I'll put a link down below where people can find out some more information, and if they want to come to these events or catch up with you guys while you're out and about on tour around Asia. So there'll be some information down below where people can find that, and of course engage with the community, reach out and ask any questions you might want. I mean, we just scraped the surface of what you guys are doing over at Pumapay. The story's a lot bigger than this, but definitely a lot of interesting information here for us today. So thank you for coming on and telling us what you guys are doing over at Pumapay. It's super interesting.
Thank you for having me, and I want to say one more thing. Next week, September 9th, and this is also part of our tour, and one of the reasons that we're going to get listed on OKX, which is, I don't have to say, one of the leading exchanges in the world. And we've been collaborating with them for a few months now on creating these events. They're helping us with some of the events. They're going to co-host with us. The launch of our Pan-Asian tour in Singapore is a VIP dinner, closed dinner that we're going to co-host together with OKX. And so we're going to be, our token is going to be traded again against the USDK, which is the OKX stable currency, and against the Bitcoin starting coming Monday.
Very cool stuff. So if you guys want to grab some Pumapay, head over to OKX after Monday and you can find yourself some tokens over there. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on.
Okay. Thank you very much for having me.